Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. We're looking at the difference between political parties and pressure groups. The difference between political parties and pressure groups. Now, the first difference is that, unlike pressure groups, political parties put up candidates and compete in elections, to form a government. Now, events over time have shown that democratic practices only accept political parties to put up candidates, that contest election and eventually form the government. While where they are successful, but pressure groups, on the other hand, do not put candidates, for election. Neither do they compete to form a government. The primary aim of political parties, is to get as many candidates elected as possible. Okay, so those are the things. Now, the pressure groups, on the other hand, does not actually put up candidates, to be elected in a general election. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, political parties have wider scope than pressure groups. Political parties have wider scope than pressure groups. What does that mean? It means that political parties provide a manifesto that covers broad policy areas, such as health, education, defense, and infrastructure. Now, the main focus is that people will vote them, because of the changes or reforms they wish to implement, to improve the country. Okay, but pressure group, on the other hand, usually have a single policy that they focus on. Now, example of this policy is that, they have issues relating to labor, mass media, ethnic group, environment, animal rights, children, women, mother and child health, education, or people with disability. Okay, that's number two. Then number three is that political parties are more formal. Political parties are more formal and more organized than pressure groups. What does that mean? It means that political parties usually, have formal structure and are recognized through elected leadership. Pressure group, on the other hand, do not necessarily have formal structures, and they are usually dominated by unelected leadership. Now, the structure depends on the need of the pressure group itself. Now, these groups do not have rigid and democratic structures, especially, very large organizations. Okay, so that's number three. Then number four, pressure groups, represent the interest of a few, while political parties represent the interest of the entire society. Now, unlike pressure groups, which represent the interest of only marginalized or disadvantaged groups in the society, like students, children, mentally retarded, workers, women, and disabled, of course, political parties political parties represent, the interest of all groups in the society. So political parties differ from pressure groups in that they address the general, they address the general interest of the whole country, covering all groups of people in the country, while pressure groups mostly address the voice in the policy making body. Now, number four, the number four is that the core objective of political party is to capture power, while that of pressure group is to influence government decision. While the major objective of political party is to attain power and form the government, the aim of the pressure group is to influence the decision making of the government. For example, more frequently in Nigeria, the ASU and NUT, that is ASU and NUT have influenced, the decisions of government, okay, the decisions of government relating to the educational sector. And this include, the rapid expansion of the number of secondary schools and the increment of funding for universities. Now, with political parties, whatever they do has to, has to do with building trust in the citizens, to vote for them in subsequent election. Number 6, political parties are accountable, to the populace, while pressure groups are accountable to only their members. Now, political parties are accountable to the people because the leaders are put in power through what? Through the people's votes. But in most cases, pressure groups are not accountable to the people since they are not elected by the people's votes. Now, the pressure groups usually operate on humanitarian and voluntary grounds and are not questioned, you know, of not meeting the demands of the citizens. This is because people did not participate in putting them in power, and positions. Now, political parties, on the other hand, operate under pressure of being voted out of office, you know, during a general election if they do not, or if they are not accountable enough to the people. Number 7, democratic political system can exist without pressure groups but cannot exist without political parties. Now, political parties are often formal and recognized part of democratic political system. In the US, for example, Democratic and Republican political parties are in place. In UK, Labour, Conservative and Liberal parties are there. In Nigeria, we have the APC, the PDP, the APGA, the Labour Party, and all of that are examples of recognized political parties. Now, pressure groups, on the other hand, are informal, closed, and unrecognized, part of a democratic society. Number 8, political parties have a more national spread than pressure group. Now, unlike pressure groups, which operate at national level, okay, political parties operate at local, subnational, that is regional level. We have they also operate at national level and international level. Now, when a political party campaigns for power, it aims at taking control of the whole nation and the branches throughout the country. Now, when a political party wins election, okay, when a political party wins elections, now it represents its representatives that will occupy the public office will attend international conferences and meetings, although on behalf of the state, but they were first members of political parties. Okay, so that is actually for that. Then the next point is that while there is ruling party in a country, okay, there is no ruling pressure group within a country. Now, what does that mean? Now, only one political party rules one country at a time, which is predetermined in the constitution. That is the ruling party, and others become opposition parties. Okay, while there are no ruling pressure group over others. Okay, all pressure groups have equal chances. They all have equal chances of operating, no matter which political party is in power. Okay, now the ruling party may use its power and defense forces, to suppress other political parties in fear of being overthrown. Now, the pressure groups, on the other hand, have no power to suppress other pressure groups since they do not own any defense forces, neither do they have political power. So these are the differences, the differences between political parties, and pressure groups. Now, it is also very important that, we get it very clear that there is a distinction between the concept of political party and the concept of pressure group, because pressure groups, okay, or interest groups, you know you know, pressure group or interest group, is just an organization whose members all share a common interest goal, and they wish to influence, the government, to attain these goals that they have actually put in place. Now, pressure group, on the other hand, the pressure group is actually a group of people. It is like an informal organization. Okay. Now, political party, on the other hand, is like a formal organization. However, what happens is that in pressure group, okay, they don't contest election, to form government. Political parties, on the other hand, contest election and they form government, okay, at the end of the day. That is actually the major difference between the two. Thank you very much.